Hello there guys, it's me Foxy313 and yes, in this video this is an important announcement video to make. Oh sorry, is that today is a happy Remembrance Day from Foxy, from me of course, yes, and I just wanted to say that on this day, November 11th, is Remembrance Day, a day to remember all of our World War II British and World War I British soldiers who have died while fighting for our freedom in the wars. And memorial services are usually held everywhere on the 11th hour, on the 11th day, on the 11th month. There are some World War II veterans still alive, but many of them have died of old age, quite sadly, and very sadly being brutally murdered. Oh dear. And of course, yes. So it's I don't know how bluntly I should put this, but this is a very, very important day. Remembrance Day, because it is very, very important. Even if you two don't, if there are anybody watching who doesn't really care about it, well, that's okay. But of course you must really, as in seriously, you must know that Remembrance Day is not all about over-glorifying war. It's about the conflict, which I do say the soldiers had suffered through, a reminder of why we should never have a world war again. And it's also a time to reflect the soldiers who have passed away as well, who've defended our freedom, which is very, very important. If many people know, for me to say this, for many people who are watching. Because of course it's really an important, as in a thoroughly important day to remember. But for those of you who don't care about Remembrance Day, I mean, it's alright, because it's really not my problem, that's your problem. For those of you who don't care about Remembrance Day, and I'm sorry to sound rude, but it's just because of course we as people have rights. And of course I try not to say it rudely, I only try and say it in a friendly manner, really. But of course I had to be firm. I'm very, very sorry. I don't like to be firm, but this day is was very important. I know it's coming to the end of it. I do apologise if I've done it late, but it's very important if I have to remind this to you all. And also today marks the 100th anniversary of the marking of the British armistice. Very, very importantly. And so I think it's important for me to remind this to you all. And sorry that my poppy fell off. Didn't fix well to my jumper. Never mind. But this is my poppy, which I was wearing, which fell off. But I have my own poppy for Remembrance Day of 2018. I'll probably keep it and put it on again in 2019, definitely, and for many years onwards, because it is very, very important day, Remembrance Day of all years, you know. And yes, and I think it's right for me to have done this, but I'm really, really sorry I was so firm to any of you watching, because it's something that can hurt me a bit, but I just had to do it just for an important sake, really. But yes, it is very sad, but a very important day to remember. And oh, sorry everybody about this, but this over here is the poppy I'll be wearing, and also going to, oh sorry, it's going to hold up in front. Because of this, it's for my consideration and reminder of Remembrance Day, because I do have a lot of thoughts of the soldiers who have died during World War I and World War II. But all the World War I soldiers have now died, sadly, because on this day, 10 years ago, at the 90th anniversary of the armistice, Henry Allingham, Bill Stone and Harry Patch attended the Remembrance Sunday 2008. They were all three really old men in wheelchairs. Bill Stone was 108 then. Harry Patch, well, it was Bill Stone, 1900 to 2009, was 108. Harry Patch, 1898 to 2009, who was then 110 in November 2008, but lived to be 111, and Henry Allingham, 1896 to 2009, attended, who was then 112 in 2008, when he attended the 90th anniversary of the marking of the armistice and Remembrance Sunday 2008. So yes, it's kind of a happy and informative awareness noticing video, but not the funny ones, but a very important one, you know. And yes, so please, I can't tell you how important this is for me to remind you that Remembrance Day is a very, very important day to remember. We still have many children still alive, not loads, but they're all dying off, but there are still a good few and a good number of children still alive who managed to live throughout the First World War. There are some very, very young toddler children who are still alive, who were born just a few years before World War I, but they're now nearing the babies who were alive during World War I and still alive today are now nearing to their mid-hundreds. Many of the children who are still alive who were very, very young during World War I, they're like nearing to their mid to late hundreds now, but many of them are dying off because of course they are getting very, very old. Yes, which is sad, but we can't live forever, you know. But there are some super centenarians out there who have lived throughout World War I tremendously. I mean, there must have been a lot of conflicts with them, but there are some really, really old people who were alive as children during World War I who are still alive today, as I mentioned, which is not just a fantasy, but it's a true fact, who are still alive even to this day, who were alive during World War I, and some actually still remember it. I think when we have the last ones in, like, say, a few years or so, I think they're very likely to be interviewed about their experiences during World War I when they were as children during World War I, and they'd probably be able to give the interviewers a good heck of a lot of good information about it, you know. Be useful, but it'd be sad once they've all gone. Oh dear. Same could be said for the World War II veterans, because many of the young ones who joined in the early to mid 1940s and very late and from 1939, they are now nearing to their mid to late 90s or early to mid to late 90s at the very youngest to average age, and also into their early to late hundreds, some World War II veterans. Here in the UK there are some in their early to late hundreds at the very oldest, but at the youngest, like early to mid 90s at the youngest, and late 90s, sorry. Yes, but they're all going off now, because they are now getting very, very old, the ones who are still alive. And for example, there was one really well respected World War II veteran who sadly died back in June of 2018, nearly July, and that was Major General Corin Purdon, who we sadly lost nearly 5 months ago, which was very, very sad. Oh dear. But he was 97 anyway. So R.I.P. to Major General Corin William Brooke Purdon, born on 4th of May 1921 and died on the 27th of June 2018. And R.I.P. to our last 3 surviving World War I veterans, to Bill Stone, born 23rd of September 1900, died 10th of January 2009, aged 108. R.I.P. to Henry John Speech Marks Harry Patch, born born 17th of June 1898 and died on the 25th of July 2009, aged 111 years old. And a very, very sincere and tremendously big R.I.P. to Henry William Allingham, born 6th of June 1898 and died on the 18th of July 2009, aged 113 years of age, which is impressive, you know. Yes, but of course, please let me know what your thoughts were on this video. I'm sorry if it wasn't entertaining and it was very, very seriously done. And for those of you who are fascinated about the Remembrance Sunday video of 2018, I'll try and send the link. The link to possibly the full-length one will be found in the description below. Sorry if the quality's fading out. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye from your friend Foxy, and for this poppy, lest we forget Remembrance Sunday 2018 in wish commemoration from Foxy. Lest we forget Remembrance Day or Remembrance Sunday. Thanks for watching, everybody, and goodbye, and lest we forget Remembrance Sunday commemoration.